Compulsive story making, or CSM, is a habit many of us learned in childhood and got stuck with. Unmasking and conquering it can change your entire life. How did we get it? We might have become highly strung at a particular developmental stage, because when our mind's creative powers kicked in, they overly linked with intense, immature emotions. Or perhaps unhelpful examples were set by parents or family members who were slightly neurotic or addicted to the adrenaline rush they found in sensational gossip and drama. Our culture's media, of course, also bears responsibility for endlessly generating a skewed, exaggerated reality many become addicted to, such as obsession with celebrity scandals. Whatever the cause, many of us have unwittingly allowed a wonderful, venerable part of human life, the art of storytelling, to become our over-secreting gland, or bad autopilot. CSM sufferers live with the compulsion to turn every setback, real or imagined, into an intense victim story, either aloud or, more commonly, endlessly repeating in their heads. Compulsive story-making latches onto negative emotions and feeds them, steadily consuming a great deal of nervous energy, and over time, eroding both mental and physical health. CSM sometimes also triggers social isolation, as a workplace, school, or even family group consciously decides to ostracize its resident drama queen, finding that person's endless victim narrative too toxic. The good news is, this common psychological road bump is easy to identify and, once acknowledged, relatively simple to disempower. Let's unmask it now, by simply following two typical CSM-type stories with short, objective descriptions of what actually happened in reality to trigger them. They mercilessly crucified me, and I finally saw Bob for the Judas he really is. Wow, a biblical epic. Actually, just a big disappointment at work. They rejected my proposal. She publicly humiliated me as I waited an eternity, emotionally naked, while passers-by laughed. In reality, an offensive, embarrassing half hour at worst, because she didn't turn up for the date. Aren't people entitled to vent their emotions, good or bad? Sure. But revving up outraged negativity, then creatively turning it into a long-term mantra, is just plain self-destructive. Retelling a painful letdown incident aloud or in one's head is not going to change anything, only fuel the pain. The simple solution to start practicing now is stepping back. Step back from your thoughts about the bitter event and just observe them. Don't argue or analyze, just take slow, calming breaths and watch. Watch the show, as it were. Watch your mind chew on what happened, as minds love to do, like a dog mechanically chewing a bone, even long after all the meat and marrow has gone. The more you simply observe, the more your higher mind will kick in, and with it, gradually, a return to perspective and, in time, a sense of peace and acceptance. You didn't die, you just didn't sell that idea that day. You'll get other chances, you weren't publicly destroyed. That girl just skittishly changed her mind, so is maybe best avoided. Write down, and once a week, remind yourself of these two practical steps to be deployed whenever the need arises, and that's usually straight after something goes wrong. 1. Calmly acknowledge your tendency to compulsively story make. 2. Sever the event's retelling from reality by simply stepping back and watching your mind gilding the lily. The more often your higher, wiser mind is put in charge, instead of your outraged amateur filmmaker, the faster that CSM will weaken and eventually collapse before your very eyes.
Much of our story making is, of course, fueled by pain from our past, and some helpful and comforting knowledge focused on that process is available in our revealing but very supportive episode 8.